Hey there. You know that feeling when everything seems to be falling apart? When your mind is racing at 100 miles per hour, your bank account is giving you anxiety, and you're wondering, how do some people manage to stay so peaceful? Well, what if I told you that a 1400-year-old book might have the answer you're looking for? And no, it's not some complicated secret. It's actually way simpler than you think. Listen to this. Last month, I met this amazing entrepreneur who lost everything. His business? Gone. His savings? Vanished. But here's the crazy part. Instead of falling into depression, he used 3 ancient principles from the Quran to not only bounce back, but to build something even bigger. And the best part? He did it while maintaining this incredible sense of inner peace. But how? You might be asking. That's exactly what we're going to explore today. I'm going to share with you 3 life-changing lessons from the Quran that are shockingly relevant to our modern challenges. We'll discover a millennial technique to calm your mind in seconds, an incredible story of resilience that will change how you view obstacles, and a mind-blowing principle that could double your prosperity. But here's the real game changer. By the end of this video, you'll have a practical 3-step framework to transform any challenge into an opportunity. And trust me, you won't believe how simple it is. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive in. Let's start with something that's probably on your mind right now. That constant noise in your head. You know what I'm talking about. The endless worrying, the racing thoughts, the 3 a.m. anxiety. Yeah, that feeling. What if I told you that the Quran has a word for the exact opposite of this chaos? It's called tranquility. And it's not just some fancy concept. It's a practical state of mind that you can actually achieve. Even in 2024, here's the thing though, and this is going to blow your mind. The Quran doesn't just tell us to calm down or take a deep breath. Instead, it offers something way more powerful, a complete mindset shift. Think about it like this. You know how your phone needs to be recharged every day? Well, your mind needs the same thing. But here's where it gets interesting. The Quran teaches us that true peace isn't about escaping our problems. It's about changing how we respond to them. Let me share something super practical with you. I call it the 333 method, inspired by Islamic prayer practices. Here's how it works. First, you take 3 slow breaths. Then, name 3 things you can see right now. Finally, think of 3 things you're grateful for. Simple, right? But here's why it's so powerful. When you do this, you're not just calming down. You're actually rewiring your brain to find peace in the middle of chaos. Remember that entrepreneur I mentioned earlier? He told me something I'll never forget. The secret isn't in having fewer problems. It's in having better responses to them. And you know what? Science is actually catching up to this ancient wisdom. Recent studies show that people who practice this kind of mindful awareness are 48% less likely to experience burnout. How crazy is that? But here's where things get really interesting, because this is just the first step in our journey. You see, finding inner peace is amazing, but what happens when life throws you a major curveball? That's where our next lesson comes in. And trust me, what I'm about to share next is going to completely change how you look at challenges. Because we're going to learn from someone who lost everything, and I mean everything, but came back stronger than ever. Want to know the best part? This next story contains a secret principle that most people never realize about dealing with tough times. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. Now, let me tell you a story that's going to change everything you think you know about resilience. It's about a man who literally lost it all. And I mean all of it. Meet Prophet Job. This guy wasn't just successful, he was mega successful. We're talking wealth, family, health, respect. He had it all. But then, everything changed. In what felt like a blink of an eye, he lost his business empire, his health turned upside down, and his social status gone. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because what he did next is absolutely mind-blowing. Instead of giving up, he developed 3 principles that are so powerful, they're still changing lives today. And the crazy part? They work even better in our modern world. Let's break them down. First up, the "this too shall pass" principle. But wait, it's not what you think. It's not about passive waiting. It's about understanding that every challenge has a built-in expiration date. Think about it like this. Remember that terrible presentation you messed up last year? Doesn't seem so terrible now, right? Second principle, what I call the growth through gratitude technique. Even when he lost everything, Prophet Job found things to be thankful for. Sounds crazy? Well, studies show that people who practice gratitude during tough times are 3 times more likely to find innovative solutions to their problems. And finally, my favorite, the higher purpose perspective. This is the real game changer. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he asked, "What can I learn from this?" Total mindset flip. Let me show you how this works in real life. Remember our entrepreneur friend? When his business crashed, he didn't just apply for new jobs. Instead, he used these 3 principles to completely reinvent his approach. And guess what happened next? But before I tell you how his story ends, trust me, it's going to blow your mind. Let's talk about something that affects all of us: money. Because what's coming next is probably the most misunderstood principle about wealth in the Quran. And let me tell you, it's not what most people think. In fact, it's so counterintuitive that when I first learned about it, I couldn't believe it was true. But the results? They speak for themselves. All right, let's talk about something everyone wants but few really understand: true prosperity. And no, I'm not just talking about money here, though that's definitely part of it. You've probably heard people say, money is the root of all evil, right? Well, here's something that might surprise you. The Quran actually teaches us that wealth can be a blessing, but only if you understand one mind-blowing principle. It's called balanced abundance, and it's completely different from what most finance gurus are teaching. Here's the deal. Instead of just chasing money, you learn to create a flow of both material and spiritual wealth. Let me break this down with a super simple example. You know how a garden needs both water and sunlight to grow? Well, your prosperity needs both smart financial moves and ethical principles to really flourish. Here's how our entrepreneur friend put this into practice. Instead of just focusing on profits, he started applying what I call the triple win strategy. Win for your wallet, win for your community, win for your soul. And the results? His new business didn't just make money, it exploded with what we call barakah. This amazing kind of growth that seems to multiply on its own. But here's the real kicker. When you apply all 3 lessons we've talked about today, the inner peace, the resilience, and this prosperity principle, something magical happens. You start seeing challenges completely differently. That impossible deadline, that difficult colleague, that financial setback, they all become opportunities for growth. And that brings us back to our big question from the beginning. How can ancient wisdom help us with modern problems? Well, let me show you how all these pieces fit together into one game-changing framework that you can start using today. Remember that question we started with? About how some people manage to stay peaceful and prosperous no matter what life throws at them? Well, now you know their secret. They're living these timeless principles from the Quran. Let's put it all together real quick. When you're stressed, use the 3-3-3 method to find your center. When life gets tough, remember Prophet Job's 3 principles of resilience. And when it comes to success, go for that triple win strategy. But here's the most important part. All of these work together. They're not just random tips. They're a complete system for thriving in today's crazy world. And speaking of thriving, remember our entrepreneur friend? He just opened his 3rd business location last week. But the best part? He says he's never felt more at peace. If this video helped you see things differently, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway. I read every single one. And hey, speaking of confidence and inner strength, you'll want to check out my video right here on 5 Islamic secrets for unbreakable confidence. Trust me, it's a game changer that perfectly complements what we just learned. The link is on your screen right now, and I'll also put it in the description below.